All right, welcome to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. Happy Monday, happy June, end of June. Wow, I can't believe we are here already. We are officially through all of the group stage. We are heading into and completed already 2 of the matches in the knockout round of 32 for the first time in World Cup history. We have a round of 32. But first and foremost, I am Dave. I've got Naz beside me. No Diego today. He is hosting some friends and family from Colombia, so he will be out of commission today. First and foremost, how was the weekend for you? What have you been up to?
It was good. It was good. I tried to watch some soccer, but it felt like the third round kind of just flew by.
It did. I not only that, but I feel like the round of 32 like snuck up on me yesterday. I don't know why. I was just so used to having, 3, 4, now 8 games in a day, 6 games in a day rather. I was not ready for that one-off game yesterday. I mean, I watched every minute of it, but it threw me off. I was expecting like more group stage matches still. Yep. So that was good. We have also made some changes to our staff. Our good friend Erin has gone from unpaid co-host to unpaid producer, which is nice. So she will be doing her best to wrangle us in wherever possible. If you hear some off-camera yelling, that is her telling me to get back to task. Thankfully, we can ease her in. She doesn't have Diego to worry about today.
Yes.
So that'll be nice. But let's hop right into it. We are going to, this will be a somewhat shorter episode today, but we are going to go just quickly group by group, talk about who advanced, who didn't, any surprises with that, and so on. So kicking off with Group A, Mexico won the group with 3 wins. South Africa in second place on 4 points advances, and South Korea on 3 and Czechia on 1 are sent home. I talked about this on one of my morning walk videos. South Korea for me was one of, if not the biggest surprise on the bad side in this World Cup thus far. Mexico, looked good, not great. They are kind of growing into this tournament. What do we think from Group A?
I think the biggest surprise from Group A would probably be Mexico, because coming into the game, we didn't know if they had an identity, if they, what they were going to do. Remember, we were watching them in the Gold Cup, and they were just struggling.
That is true.
So, to me, I think the biggest surprise coming out of the group was Mexico.
Okay, I disagree. I think South Korea not getting out of the group with a South Africa team and a Czechia team that was not well lauded is a huge surprise. But Mexico playing in front of their home fans for a few games has certainly buoys them, and we will see where that shakes out in the knockout rounds. Moving on to Group B, 7 points from Switzerland to win the group. Canada, a 4-point second place showing, has them advancing, although no longer playing in Canada now by virtue of second place. And one of the third place qualifiers, Bosnia and Herzegovina, also on 4 points, as Qatar bows out on 1 point in 4th place. I think Switzerland's a very strong side that never seems to get it done in the World Cup. You look at their squad and it's like star after star after star. Brielle Mbolo is looking good. Granit Xhaka is leading this group, much like he did at Sunderland last year, much like he did with Bayer Leverkusen to that historic double a couple seasons ago, much like he did with Arsenal for years before that. Bosnia is a potentially dangerous team. We'll talk about it more later, but they have drawn the United States in their round of 32 match. And Canada, although we are going to talk about it more later, did escape their round of 32 match narrowly with a victory.
Was that a 90? Well, I'm sure.
We'll talk about it more later. Overall thoughts on Group B?
It pretty much played out as we thought it was going to be.
I would agree. I thought with home field advantage, Canada would have taken the group. obviously the match against Qatar was, a whitewash, but
Yeah.
That's what we expected from that. Their loss to Switzerland in that final match in Vancouver, definitely threw me for a loop. They started to come back on late, but not enough, was all said and done. All right, Group C. This was the only group that had 2 top 10 sides in it. Brazil and Morocco both level on 7 points. Brazil does take the group by virtue of their goal differential. Scotland bows out on 3 points, as does Haiti with 0 points, 3 losses from them. For me, before the World Cup started, I picked Brazil to win the whole tournament. They did not look great early on. They are growing into the tournament, which I thought they would. Ancelotti's only been there for about a year. He's a master of manipulating these guys, and they have talent all over the field. Vinny Jr., again, I'm on record, I'm not a big fan of him, just in general, but there's no denying the ability that he has. You have a pair of teenagers in Endrick and Hyan, and if Alisson can revive his youth in goal, they're among the world best at every single position on the field. What do you think?
I agree. There's still the word coming from Brazil fans that Brazil still doesn't have sort of like their identity. But again, that's still coming from a different coach that's not Brazilian.
First time in history. First time in Brazil's national team history.
And sometimes that's enough to get the job done. When you're playing a different style that just grinds out wins.
Right. And for what it's worth, we've talked about this from a U.S. side, for the last 30 years, it seems. Obviously, Brazil is much more historic success. But when you're not that good for a period of time, you do need that change. So maybe bringing in the foreign manager, to your point, is just what they needed. All right, over to Group D. A 6-point group from the United States to win the group. Australia and Paraguay also advancing on 4 points each. And Turkey, a huge surprise, goes home on only 3 points. And that was the only points they got was by virtue of that late winner against the United States in a 3-2 victory. The U.S. will be moving on to play Bosnia and Herzegovina right here on July 1st. Well, I said right here. We're going to be hosting a party for it. The match is out in California. But is this as you expected for Group D?
Yeah. I think it pretty much. I thought maybe Paraguay and Australia would swap places, but again, that's only just.
Yeah, I expected much more from Turkey. Yeah. Their first 2 matches, they amassed, I think, 62 shots. Yeah. Without scoring a single goal, which is, I believe, a record. But yeah, overall, very surprising for me that Turkey is eliminated. I do have Australia as my, shock surprise on the good side for the tournament, so I'm well equipped there. All right, over to Group E. Germany wins the group on 6 points. Ivory Coast in second place, also on 6. Ecuador as a third team qualifier on 4 points, and the beloved Curacao has bowed out, although they did get a draw. So there's that. They have a point in the World Cup for the first time, as Aaron is hooting and hollering over in the background there. Germany, again, they absolutely dominated Curacao. No surprise there. They needed to come back from the Ivory Coast from a Frank Kessié goal, 2 goals from substitute Undav, and they lost their final match against Ecuador. Granted, they did not need any result from there to win the group, but very surprising slow start from the Germans. Obviously, you can never count them out, but do you think Germany has what it takes to make a deep run here, or is this what we expect, a struggling Germany side once they come up to, better competition?
I think the main issue with this is people are, we can get into it more later, but I think people are expecting the better teams to just crush.
Yeah.
And when they grind out the 2-1 wins, they don't really realize how much effort and work the opposing team is putting in, right? They're in the World Cup. Everyone's playing at their best, or at least attempting to.
Yep, so that's fair.
There's a lot more competition in these games than people expect. Yeah. Like again, that 7-1 win against Curacao, that's what people expected.
It was 1-1 at one point.
Correct.
All right, Group F, Netherlands wins the group. That is my pick for runners-up in the tournament. So again, I'm happy there. On 7 points, Japan advanced in second place on 5. Sweden, one of the third-place teams, advancing on 4 points, and Tunisia, 3 losses, no points, -10 goal differential, is no longer in the tournament. What do we think here?
For me, the Sweden was the surprise. Is not. I thought they were going to play a little bit better in their games, but
I mean, they looked good right off the rip with that 5-1 victory over Tunisia, and then got stomped by the Netherlands by the same scoreline.
Correct.
So very surprising, and a draw with Japan in the final match. But it's certainly a there's a lot of pundits out there not huge fans of Graham Potter, who has now become the Sweden manager and guided them to this World Cup. But I think, for me, that overall that's a group of death. You have 3 very good sides, and then Tunisia. Fortunately, in this tournament,
and again, I think if I remember reading correctly, wasn't Tunisia didn't allow a single goal in qualification?
Yeah, They had a very good run into it.
They came in.
Yeah, they also fired their manager in the middle of the tournament, so there's that. All right, Group G, Belgium wins the group on 5 points. Egypt, second place, also on 5 points, and then Iran on 3 and New Zealand on 1 are out of the tournament. Iran was one of the last teams to get eliminated by virtue of the third place.
Correct. Yeah, they needed a couple other results to go their way. Did not end up happening, so they are on their way home.
I'm fine. Obviously, everything that was thrown up against them, and obviously, all politics aside, the fact that they had to fly in for every one of their games and then leave that day or the day after certainly is a factor. The fact that they were able to do all that and still grind out 3 draws in this tournament, I think is nothing short of incredible. That being said, obviously it's just the way it worked out in terms of points that they didn't advance, but I'm personally okay with, and I don't know if this could be somehow a tiebreaker, but if you don't win a single game, you shouldn't be moving on.
Yeah.
That's where I stand on this.
Yep.
And I think Belgium and Egypt are the 2 strongest teams in this group.
I think the biggest surprise here, though, was Belgium is struggling as much as they did.
Yeah, similar to Switzerland, where every position you look at, they have talent. Mm-hmm. This, though, still is that golden generation from 2014 that a lot of them are still playing. You look at some of these goal scorers: Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku. Although Lukaku's not that old, but De Bruyne is older. Alex Witsel is still on this squad. He's like 38, 39, I think. So, I think, clinging to that group is going to hurt them in the long run, especially when you consider the amount of travel and the heat in this tournament. I don't think they will move that far beyond, the group stage as we speak. Group H, maybe the surprise of the tournament thus far, but Spain wins the group on 7 points. Second place, Cabo Verde, 3 draws, 3 points, and they move on. Somehow that was enough to get them into second place. In the same group, perhaps one of the biggest disappointments alongside South Korea for me, Uruguay on 2 points does not make it out of the group. Neither does Saudi Arabia, also with 2 points. Thoughts on this group?
Listen, Spain is understandable, but I think I'm more surprised at the bottom 3 teams only grinding out.
I know it was such a
7
strange
from a possible it's insane.
Yeah. These results,
like you said, 3 draws got them.
Again, as cool as it is to see Cabo Verde in their first World Cup advance, I don't think a team that doesn't win a game should be moving on. I don't, and that's a realization I just came to as I'm reading, these brackets and groups. But Spain looks strong. Lamine Yamal is growing into this tournament as a teenager, and I'm very curious to see what he has in the knockout rounds. Group I was actually at one of these games, but France wins the group on 9 points. undefeated, 10 goals for, 2 against. Norway on 6 points moves on, as does Senegal with 3 points as one of the third place teams. Iraq goes out winless once again, negative 11 goal differential. Any surprises here for you?
No, I think it finished exactly how we thought it would. I like the cleanliness of the 9-6-3.
Yeah,
like that's good. So
yeah, I do. For whatever reason, I like you said, cleanliness where there's no draws in the in the table. Okay, Group J, Argentina buoyed by the one and only Leo Messi and his 6, right? Did he have 6 goals? Yes, 6 group stage goals, a hat trick, a brace, and then a single goal in the last match that he came on as a sub, I believe, as well. So Argentina wins the group on 9 points. Austria and Algeria both as well moving on 4 points. Austria gets second place and Algeria third. And then Jordan, yet another Asian team with 0 wins in this tournament. They will be going home. Chalk talk there, just write it up and no surprises, right?
Yep.
All right, Group K now. This one, again, had some very interesting things.
This group felt rough.
Yeah.
Like from watching the games to like the how it ended up finalizing, it just, I don't know, they were rough to watch.
Yeah,
they were rough to experience. I have no other words to explain it.
Yeah, and obviously with Diego's connection to Colombia as well as my family, we were all kind of watching this a little bit closer than another group we may have. But Colombia wins the group on 7 points. Portugal struggles through but does come in second on 5 points. And the Democratic Republic of Congo, 4 points, including that final 3-1 victory against Uzbekistan, where they were trailing 1-0. They will be moving on as one of the 4th place teams. And just like the last group, Uzbekistan, yet another Asian team without a win in the tournament. They are set to go home. I mean, we talked about it. Are you surprised by the table here in this one?
No, I mean, it could have been, like I said, it could have been switched between Colombia and Portugal at any point in time, but I'm not really surprised by anything.
Do we think Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo can make a run here in this tournament? We'll talk about it more once we get to the bracket.
Again, we're watching some of the bigger teams struggle.
Yeah.
I think it's a World Cup. I think anything can happen this year.
All right, the final group is Group L. That was England's to win with 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. Croatia, despite a tough start with that 4-2 loss to England, does move on with 6 points in second place. And Ghana, another one of the third place teams that move on, they got 4 points. Panama will go home again without a loss and without a goal scored. They might have been. Are they the only ones that did not score a goal in the tournament?
Which ones?
Panama.
No, Tunisia didn't, or did they, or no?
Tunisia scored two goals. Yeah, one from Curacao. Two. Yeah.
Okay,
Panama is the lone team not to score a goal this tournament.
Which is surprising. They did well in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, they did well in qualifying. They did well in the Cup, Gold Cup, and they're just unable to get it done. What do we think on England here? I mean, all 4 of us, you, myself, Diego, and Erin, all picked England as our major team to crash out early. Obviously, they win the group. They don't look stellar doing it.
Well, early on, they had us second guessing our decision.
Right.
And then every game after that, they had us supporting our decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall in my history of watching the World Cup a team going undefeated through the group stage and still having so many question marks. It really is incredible. Oliver, good to see you. Thank you for hanging out in chat. As always, we appreciate you. So yeah, Group L, no surprises there for me. I think that was pretty evenly matched in terms of what we thought, and I could see England getting it right and making it all the way to the final, or I could see them, losing in the round. Well, I don't think they'll lose in the round of 32 based on their opponent, but I could see them not making it too far. So with that, let's move on to the round of 32 bracket. You know what? Before we do that, let's take a quick 1 minute break. We will let me get a sip of water and revive a little bit, and we will be right back with the knockout stages. Yep. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. I'm Dave. I've got Naz beside me. It is time for knockout stage brackets. Just so you guys know, we have already seen 2 of the matches yesterday and today. So we will talk about those matches already, but we want to just talk about the bracket in general. We will be going top to bottom, or I guess left side, right side, depending on how your screens are formatted based on what website you've got the bracket on. Yep. But the first matchup that I have here is Germany-Paraguay, which is coincidentally going to be kicking off in about 10 minutes. What do we think on this one? I think Paraguay looked pretty rough in most of their matches. I'm surprised that they got through.
I think Germany sails away with it.
I think Germany runs away with this one, only to face the winner of France against Sweden. As an Arsenal guy, obviously you've got Gyökeres there.
Absolutely, but on France as well. Man, there's pegs in each one. I would have said Sweden if you asked me 2 games ago, but I don't know, or at least a good game between them. But after seeing what the Netherlands did to them, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't.
And not to mention just the absolute arsenal, no pun intended, of attacking players that France has at their disposal. Yeah. Mbappe honestly has not looked great. And they're still just scoring in boatloads. It's really incredible.
Saying he hasn't looked great is also the dude scored what? He's got 4 goals in this? That's still pretty good.
Let me rephrase that. He has not looked as good as we've seen him in past World Cups. He did get 2 braces. But again, they're getting goals from all over the place. Yep. Ousmane Dembele had a hat trick. Desiree Doué has gotten on the score line. Bradley Barcola. And that's not even talking about a lot of their other talent. So you can't go anywhere on that field without a major star.
Yeah, I think France fans will be happy about that Dembele hat trick, seeing him get back on the scoreboard.
Oh, for sure. All right, so the match yesterday, South Africa loses to Canada 1-0. This was a courtesy of a late goal.
Very, very lucky,
Yeah, I'm just trying to grab the report. Here we are.
Yeah, 92nd?
Eustachio in the 90th +2 out in Inglewood, California. Again, because they finished second in their group, the Canadian knockout matches will not be, where Canada is playing. Yeah. And I did see some reporting on that. And then, to be honest, I am a little bit surprised that they couldn't have. I'm fine with if Canada finished third in their group, not being guaranteed to play in Canada. But I'm surprised that the second place team in Canada's group, which was them, was not also a match in Canada. That one threw me for a loop, because you do have other matches that are in Canada. Yeah. Switzerland, Algeria, for instance, is going to be played there. So, and then the next match of that winner. So I am a little bit surprised that they didn't try to figure out that, but it is what it is. Let's see now, going back up. So Canada will play the winner of Netherlands-Morocco, which is the late game tonight. Do I have that right, Aaron? Yes. So that's the 9 p.m. match. Erin is a big Morocco fan, apparently, so she will be testing the waters, trying to stay up past 8 p.m. What are we going to do? But this is truly, for me, the first of many, but the first real major clash of titans in these knockout rounds. Yeah. Really, as I'm scrolling down, it's probably, I would say it's the best matchup of teams that we have in the round of 32. The strongest 2 teams, I would say. What do we think? Netherlands has looked pretty good. They're again another team that's getting goals in boatloads. Morocco was a semifinalist at the last World Cup. They have plenty of talent. What do you got?
I got to go with the orange.
Yeah.
I've ridden them. You and I already had this discussion.
I did see a report, and I don't know how they count this, but apparently in Guadalupe, Mexico, there are 100,000 Dutch.
Did you see them in Kansas City?
Yeah.
That was insane.
But for what it's worth,
yeah.
Kansas City is where their base was.
Yep.
So to have 100,000 now traveling again to go to Mexico for this game is incredible.
Yep.
I might be rethinking my, although I already put my vote in, but I might be rethinking the best fan base of the World Cup. As cool as it was, for the Scotland fans, they're home now, and Netherlands keeps on marching on. Again, no pun intended. Okay. Next, on the other kind of quadrant of the bracket, this is the U.S. quadrant. So a lot of eyes will be on these matches. July 2nd, Portugal, Croatia. This is probably, as I scroll through, the second best matchup, I would have to say. Another matchup of two European powers. Portugal is a recent winner of the Euros. Croatia is a two-time. Do I have that right? They lost in the final in 2018. They were a semi-finalist in 2022, I believe. Yep. And then 1998, I believe they were a semi-finalist as well. Portugal trying to figure things out while shoehorning Cristiano Ronaldo into this lineup. He does have a couple goals against Uzbekistan. Do we think Portugal takes this? Do we think Croatia can muster up some power for this?
If you asked me a couple of years ago, would this be a good game? I'd say yeah, but right now it just doesn't look like. I'm sure it'll be entertaining in some ways, but for me, it doesn't seem like something I want to tune into.
Fair enough. I do think Croatia will probably try to sit back a little bit, let the game grow.
Yeah.
But I mean, Portugal, outside of Cristiano Ronaldo, has still plenty of firepower. Maybe most importantly was Rafael Leao getting a goal to boost his confidence, because they have the midfield figured out with Bruno Fernandes, Nuno Mendes, and Vitinha. But to get star power up front, scoring goals like a Cristiano Ronaldo, like a Rafael Leao, will certainly spell trouble for their opponents. That winner will play the winner of Spain and Austria. I mean, Spain, outside of their draw against Cabo Verde, has looked very strong. I think they will easily take this match, but again, bigger surprises have happened. Okay, now we get to the U.S. July 1st in Santa Clara, where we will be hosting a massive watch party out here on Colden Street. A quick update on that. Actually, we've just received confirmation. We will be having a old school New York style hot dog cart ready to go outside for your street fair food needs. I've always loved that kind of atmosphere, and hopefully it's another quick hitting food for all our fans, and we can release some of the pressure on our kitchen as they work with us through our Knicks watch parties, through our World Cup watch parties. They are incredible up there, but we want to try to ease their pains a little bit. So the U.S. against Bosnia and Herzegovina, that was a third place team in the Canada group. What do we think here? I mean, Bosnia's got, they beat Italy to, through the UEFA playoffs to get here in the first place. Can they take out the host United States in this knockout game?
I don't know. When I looked at this earlier, I felt like this might be, seeing as who they have to go up against, I feel like this could be the best chance that the United States probably has to get to the top 8.
Yeah.
Because again, they'll be playing the winner of the next game that we're going to go over, but I think they can get through Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah.
We watched them play well against Turkey with their third stringers, so to see the main groups come back, finally get well rested. Pulisic looked like he was back on his game.
He looked hungry. I will say that obviously they lost the game. But I will also say, I mean, and I said this to several people, just in person, but Turkey, despite their failures at this tournament, they're a top 25 team in the FIFA rankings.
Yeah.
They have incredible talent, guys like Arda Güler, guys like Kenan Yildiz, guys like Hakan Kanahoglu. They have world beaters there. And for the U.S., with basically a second string squad at the time, they had 9 subs from their second match, to lose that game 3-2, but look, pretty good doing it. Obviously, there were some shortcomings, but that's what happens when you get to your second 11. For me, that actually built more confidence, despite the tough result against Turkey.
Yeah.
So I think the U.S. takes this match. I actually think they could do it with ease in terms of, giving a comfortable lead here. But then, here we go. I always talk about this. We talk about, bad draws and this and that. There are no more bad draws. You're
Correct.
coming up against the best of the best. And if you want to win the World Cup, you have to beat everyone there. So, it doesn't matter who you play anymore. You just have to go out and win those matches. The winner of that match, also on July 1st, will be playing against the winner of Belgium and Senegal. A very interesting, matchup here. We talked about Belgium and their relative struggles despite all the talent they have. I was at the Senegal-Norway match. Sadio Mane looked incredible. So, whoever is set to oppose him out on the right wing and right back area has their work cut out for them. But, plenty of talent in there from Senegal. So, obviously, even though, and this is obviously not, anti-Africa, but the general fan does not tend to know as much about the African teams.
Correct.
Senegal has a lot going for them. They did have a goalkeeper injury, so that will remain to be seen how that shakes out for them. Do you think Belgium takes this one?
I think so. I think they got on the right track in the last game. I think they'll go into this with a nice groove and hopefully see it through.
All right. I tend to agree, but I would not be surprised at all with Senegal surprising them. And obviously, much to the U.S.'s dismay, I could easily see Senegal getting through into a quarterfinal in this tournament. So, again, sometimes it's just the way the tournament shakes out for you. All right, now to the last quadrant of the the bottom half, the third quadrant.
Half, yes.
Brazil played Japan earlier today, and it took a late winner from
Gabriel Martinelli.
Gab Martinelli. Should be noted, Casemiro scored once again
with an assist from Gabriel
with his head. But after Japan went up early with a Sano goal in the 29th minute, Brazil does come back. My picked winner of the title came back, and the crowd was absolutely insane out in Houston. Yeah. It looked like it was a Brazil home match at right in Rio or something. So they will play on July 5th at MetLife Stadium, or New York, New Jersey Stadium, as it's being called for the tournament, against the winner of Ivory Coast and Norway. Ivory Coast has some extreme talent in their squad as well. Norway obviously has Odegaard. They have Erling Haaland, among others. Where do we go from this one?
I like Norway's chances. I feel like they have such a strong front that they could power through Ivory.
Yeah. They struggled defensively a little bit against Senegal. That was the match I was at.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is another one of these matches where, I could see either side moving on. I do think Norway has more talent, but again, that could be a product of me just being less familiar with some of the Ivorian players. Frank Kessie has really been kind of humming along with this group, so that'll be a good one to watch on the 30th of June. Also on the 30th, in Mexico City, Mexico will be playing host to Ecuador. I think Mexico runs rampant in this match. I think they've always had so much self-placed pressure,
Yeah.
Similar to like in England. but to have won the group the way they did, and still now they have 2 more matches in front of their home crowd. I think the pressure is off. I think they can have fun with this. They got Memo Ochoa to play a little bit, so it's all smiles in Mexico now, and I think that will show in this matchup against Ecuador. The winner of that match will play the winner of England and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That match in Atlanta, I think DR Congo and probably Cape Verde are the 2 weakest teams that made it through to the round of 32. Not to put them down at all, but if England does not win this match handily, I think even a 1-0 win, yes, it's a knockout stage. You do whatever you can, you grind out a victory. I think the pundits will be coming after England with pitchforks. No,
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, again,
they already are.
We basically came out of them with pitchforks by saying they were going to be the ones that crushed out.
Yes.
So yes, no, you are correct. If they do not play well in this game, and they're going to be seeing a lot of heat.
And the winner of those 2 matches we previously mentioned will be July 5th, also in Mexico City. So again, potential fireworks there for a possible Mexico-England matchup. All right, moving down to the 4th quadrant of our bracket. Argentina will play host, in Miami, which is essentially becoming Argentina now. We'll be playing host to Cabo Verde. I think we won't cover this one too much. This is a match that Argentina is heavily favored in, and rightly so. I mean, they have looked quality in this tournament. It's amazing to me how a team full of maybe not bona fide superstars, but a team full of quality players can just get behind Messi and do things as a team. You don't see it as much in Portugal. Obviously the Ronaldo Messi comparisons have been happening for 20 plus years now. But to see this group do that with Rodrigo, with McAllister, with some of these, with Enzo Fernandez, to all be playing for Messi still, it really is incredible. The winner of that match will be facing off with the winner of Australia and Egypt. This is an interesting matchup. Obviously Australia being in the U.S. group, we saw them a little bit closer. Egypt, had some early struggles, but did do enough to get out of their group. What do you think on this one, Naz?
I don't know. This is another.
That's why I deferred to you first.
I don't know. This is another one of those games where it just doesn't sit with me to want to watch. I think if I had to choose one, I think maybe Australia comes away with it.
Yeah. Australia is going to be very physical, much as they were, all group long. It's just kind of the style of their play. For what it's worth, I did pick Australia to be a surprise, success story from this World Cup. So from that standpoint and that standpoint only, I will be kind of silently rooting for them in this match. But I'm not a huge Mo Salah fan, but it would be nice to see him move on and get into a round of 16 matchup. But outside of that, I'm pretty kind of on the fence on this match. Australia's got one style of play, Egypt's got their own style, and the winner of that will be playing most likely against Argentina, as Argentina looks to continue their quest as a repeat World Cup champion. The final 2 matches, so July 2nd in Vancouver, Switzerland against Algeria. What do you think on this one? I've got my thoughts on it.
I would like to root for Switzerland, but it's one of those where again it could go both ways.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I think Switzerland comes good on this, and they really do have a glut of talent in that squad, and it just has never been realized. So I think they could make a run. I think they could win their next 2 matches if it shakes out properly. But they will play the winner of Colombia and Ghana. Obviously, as a Semenyo fan, I want Ghana to do well, but I think Colombia has some kind of X factor in this tournament, and I do think they have the talent. James Rodriguez is starting to look good again.
If they can get away from their offside issue,
Yeah.
There was a lot of frustrations in one of the last matches. So many offsides, 2 goals taken away. Like, it was one of those points where, I don't know. I feel like if they could get rid of those offside issues, they can be a pretty scary team.
Yeah. So that does it for the round of 32. Now that we are in the knockout stages, any second guessing on any of your picks for the final? Although you had Spain, France. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's Spain.
So
that right there cannot
happen.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of where the draw shook out, France and Spain would potentially play in a semifinal. Mine.
So I guess I would have to change it up, right? Because at that point now I'm more subject to where they were placed and not the fact that they can't get to it.
Obviously not an indictment on on your ability or inability to pick winners. Mine does still exist, though. A Brazil-Netherlands final is in the cards if both teams win out. So that being said, would you make any changes, even if you could kind of move one of those teams? Do you still think a Spain-France final would have been the most likely for you?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think,
any other teams that you've seen so far in the tournament that you think would be better than Spain or France? Let me put it that way.
I don't know. I mean, you got Germany, you got Argentina. There's some that are there, but I think I'll still stick with Spain and France, at least making it to the semifinal.
Right. I think that's more than fair. I think they have been very strong this tournament. At any rate, that is going to do it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Oliver, for hanging out in chat. We will at the very least see you next week on our show. But hopefully, anyone that's local or even moderately local, come hang out Wednesday, July 1st. We will be opening early. We're going to open at noon for the England Democratic Republic of Congo match. We will also have, and it's now escaping me, the 4 o'clock match that is also happening that day, and I'm going to bring it up real quick as soon as my laptop allows me. Belgium, Senegal. Thank you, producer Aaron. Wow, you're rehired. So we'll have Belgium, Senegal, and then, of course, U.S., Bosnia and Herzegovina at 8 p.m. We will be closing down Colgan Street once again. Not as many vendors this time. We want to keep as much room as possible for you, the fans. So we'll have the big screen. We will have the beer truck and so outside taps, as well as our hot dog cart. We are maybe possibly going to work on getting pretzels done outside as well, but we'll see how that shakes out. But again, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Naz. Thank you, promoted producer Aaron. And that's going to do it for us. Cheers. Enjoy the matches and enjoy the heat. Take care, guys.